Okay, guys, so we're back after the Lincoln Tombstone welder rebuild, and after looking at things real hard, okay, this was the issue I think I found. We've got a silver contact on this end, and initially from the evidence, this is the selector contact, okay? So this is the selector assembly that's been disassembled. This pivots to connect each amperage level, okay? And initially when I looked at it, we have okay, because of the high amperage electronics, I'm assuming that this is in fact a contact made of silver, okay? And when I saw this evidence here, I see a line this way and a line that way of what appears to be residual silver. I assume they had one of these here, but upon looking at the geometry of how this thing is made and feeling of this, if that contact had a sharp edge on it like this one does, okay, if you notice the edges of that thing are about 90 degrees, this thing wouldn't be able to do its job well, okay? And so I think what I've got here is primarily just residue from arcing, internal arcs. And so what we're going to do, we're going to clean this up. We're going to get I think a file and a chisel and maybe some sandpaper and get this. Obviously they bent these edges over because this is actually kind of bumpy. Imagine that thing going this way. All right. And these have those 90-degree edges I was talking about again. And to get this thing to work smoothly with all this bumpiness, they added these brakes here, act like a ramp. So anyway, we're just going to clean this up. We're going to clean this up. We're going to get us some, I've got some marine grease that I actually used on this earlier. I checked that grease with a voltometer and it is non-conductive. So once we get it all clean, we're going to just barely put some grease in it. All right, back in a minute. Okay, so we've got our contact mounted securely but not aggressively in a vise here, and that's what we're looking at right now. So we're going to try and clean that silver out and buff this, possibly. We have a very small chisel and we're going to gently love on it for a minute. Oop. Okay, that thing come loose tells me that I already messed it up. Okay, don't get too aggressive. So here, initially we're just going to see if how this stuff reacts to a chisel. Oh, big chunk just come right off. There we go. So this is not, or here. That's going to be something we actually need. And all we're trying to do, we're not trying to gouge the metal so much as just anything that is not well attached we want to shave or scrape off. And then we're going to use the corner to try and clean these grooves out. I'm thinking the grooves, if they're anything like what am I trying to say? The grooves are probably there to hold a little bit of grease and probably absorb some debris to help everything maintain contact. Okay, and this is just a little rasp. It's really kind of cool. It's flat on one side, and this is pretty aggressive. But we're not really trying to file this so much as just shine it up. Let's see if I can do this left-handed. Anyway, and the idea is just get the sharp edges off of it and get those grooves cleaned if we can. Yeah, a wire brush. Still got some of that silver stuff in here. And I mean, for all I know, I've never been in this thing. This may be a factory defect that never gave me no worries until now. Old boy at the factory may have put a contact on the wrong end and tired of seeing his defect bucket full, you know. That definitely feels better. All right, so we're just come on, where you at? Figure it out. Gave this light buff, and this is a really aggressive Scotch-Brite material that I found in the paint department at Lowe's, and that's what we're actually using. But then I also went ahead and used it to kind of clean and buff in here, and it's nice and smooth. Now I gotta find my grease, damn it. Okay, and this is the grease we're using. Stay Lube marine grease. It's by CRC. That Stay Lube label and that CRC label I recognize. Anyway, I've started using this instead of dielectric grease in certain applications, simply because I've found dielectric grease that I have previously installed degrading, and I'm finding corrosion where I assumed I wouldn't, as far as light bulbs and stuff go, and I'm looking for a better product. And at the moment I am experimenting with this. I am not recommending this yet, but this product, I used it for for a couple of light bulbs and some butt splices. I stuck an ohm meter in it, checking for resistance, and this stuff does not conduct, to the best of my knowledge. Okay, so all we're doing is lubing. We're not causing a short. Okay, and I'm just taking a little bit of this stuff, and we're just going to, and I'm not even, I mean, I'm just enough to know that it's in the surface. Okay, yeah, if y'all could see that. Anyway, we're going to reach up here and do essentially the same thing. All right, and just my wet finger. You know what I'm saying? You know, you just put grease everywhere. And you saw that tiny little dollop. We're not trying to get, we just want it in the surface that we just scratched up. Alright, next, let's see here. Got to reassemble this, and here again. Alright, remember I was telling you about this thing is not straight. It's got a bow to it, and I would compare it to part of my body, but we're not going to do that. And here again, we're just trying to get it into the surface. Not a lot of grease, but now I need it back. Alright, so here come my pants leg. There we go. Alright, and we're going to take and put our contactor back on. Okay, and this, yeah, I was kind of worried about something like that. Alright, and that is backwards. Okay. So don't forget, the idea of the silver here is to rotate around this axis. So that's why we put it in that hole, and then we're going to want to make sure that the spring, that it still does all its springy stuff. Okay. We're going to go ahead and poke her back in there and give her a push. Look at that. Alright, and so that is really sweet. Okay, and then all these detents here, which is probably part of our issue, I'm just going to put just the slightest amount of this stuff in there. Again, okay, now, how can I put it? I am experimenting. I am not recommending this, but if you have experience with it and are willing to comment, go ahead. I just want this thing, I just want to be able to walk up to this thing without having a fist fight to make it do what I want. Okay? Or buy it dinner and breakfast and all that kind of stuff. Alright, so, and watching the previous video, this should be part 2 of a 2-part series. There's a roll pin involved, and we got to get that back in. Alright, that might be a challenge, but we're going to try it. Because what it is you got to squeeze this pretty good to get, oh, do I see what I think I see? Nope. Okay, that's good. That's good. Anyway, it takes a lot of pressure to get that hole exposed. And if you don't have the thumb and finger strength, this might be an issue. Come on. I managed to luck up the last time. Alright, There we go. Oh, started and then popped right in. Now you want to make sure that it's centered, because once you get it centered, spring pressure will help that thing just live there. All right, and we don't want to slide it in and out a lot, because eventually we will cause some wear. All right, now there, boom, click. All right. Okay, so now that we've got the selector reassembled, cleaned, lubed, and reassembled, we're going to reinstall it. One thing I wanted to point out in the previous video, I mentioned this bolt right here. It's up to you in your situation, but that is actually for the ground of the system. This green wire right there. Okay, that's what grounds the cabinet. Okay, so if you're not confident that that's a good ground, go ahead and disassemble it. I'm confident. I've inspected that. It's good. So anyway, I like to, when I'm getting ready to reassemble things, I like to separate my hardware into like and kind. So these are the 3/8 headed bolts that will eventually end up in these two holes. These are the two that support this. We're getting ready to install them, and then these are all the cabinet bolts. Okay, so, and this little tool right here, I paid $3 for it at AutoZone one time. This thing is sexy because, well, it's got 2 different size screwdrivers. It's got 4 different size screwdrivers, and then a 1/4 inch drive and a 5/16 drive. And so it's just a little toolbox in your hand as far as I'm concerned. But that's what we're going to use to put the knob back on. But we got to get these 2 bolts in first, and these are the 2 long ones I pointed out in the first video. So we're going to poke that through its hole. We're going to poke this through its hole. And one other word of advice: don't tighten anything until you've got them all started. There we go. Alright, so that, and I can't stress the value of an overly long extension. You get your hands out of the way and lets you do what you need to do without, yeah. Snug that. Snug that. Yeah, I will gladly use a 4-foot extension on a fender bolt if it means I'm not knocking my elbows all over the place. All right, then we're gonna come right here, and we're gonna take our little Phillips head screw and try and line it up, because this screw goes in at an angle. So let's about there maybe. And actually, let's look at where the selector is. Here, let's just do this. Hold on. Alright, so it's not at 12 o'clock, it's just off at 12 o'clock. Which means if I put this at 12 o'clock, this is going to go right on. Alright. Here again, I'm using this particular screwdriver because of the convenience of all its options. A longer Phillips would get your hand farther away and reduce the angle on the shaft. but this will suffice for right now. And don't kill it. There you go. Now, oh. God, if I had women that cooperated like that, wow. All right. All right, so we're gonna install this now. And if y'all recall from the previous video, 2 screws coming from the outside support this, and then we've got 2 wires that we have to plug in to the fan. So we're gonna come in here like this. We're gonna get some hardware in our fingers. Where'd our Phillips head screwdriver go? It's right here. Okay, and here again, here's the value of this tool in that I can now use it to spin on these bolts. So initially we're just looking for this hole here. There it is. Get in there. Alright. Not yet. Here again. If you've got somebody hanging around looking for something to do. Alright, there's no capacitors or in these old welders that, and don't hold me, a different model may be different, but this is just a big old transformer. Okay, and it does not, to the best of my knowledge, store energy. It simply steps the voltage up. All right, now those are simply supporting this. They are not tight, and we are not going to tighten them until it's time. And it'll only be time when we get all of the screws started. While we're thinking about it, we're going to plug this fan back in. Get us a couple more screws. I want to say, let me think. Don't get excited now. Yep, there's one right there. Alright. These sheet metal screws, you want to turn them in a couple of times just to ensure that you have got them started. Where is it? There it is. But you got to line the holes up. Now the holes on the outside are slotted, so there's a little bit of give and take there. Okay, there's that one. Alright, now we have this one. If the previous video I told you there's a relief cut in this panel for the head of that bolt, because once you get this all assembled, the angle of this brake makes it hard to get a tool in there. But there, it's already hung on that bolt. Okay, see that? Here you go. Now our cord right here, how much of that can you, yeah, all right, there's a grommet, and if we're careful we don't destroy the grommet, and we can reuse it. So we're gonna put that back in there. All right, and then now we got to coax some of these other screws in. Now, if I'm not mistaken, been here before. There's actually one right here in the middle, in the back, and I think I'm going to start with that because I think that's going to make it a lot easier. So we're going to start right here. One. Even though there's a bunch of slots out here, slot, 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 they only come from the factory with that one. We'll get this started. Alright, now at that point, everything else is kind of finding home, I hope. And then there's also this heavy stuff on the bottom, so while we're working on the back, we're going to push the cabinet forward. Alright, where are you at? Let's find, there it is. Okay, hold on. And now the wheels, every once in a while I have to, wheels on the table. Come on, there you are. Let me get you started. Alright, here's one. Get you started. Alright, there's two. Now I'm going to take this. This is a 5/16 socket. We're going to put a 3/8 socket on it because these are larger screws with 3/8 heads. And here again, we're just going to spin them in a little bit. We're not tightening anything yet. Alright. Now we got 5 screws left. 5. Why is it 5? That's not an even number. Oh, we already started one here, looks like. Yep, I believe that's it. Did I forget to put one? Nope. Why have I got 5 screws? Alright, let's figure this out. Because I like, oh, I got 6 screws. Alright, that's better. Okay, even number means I got 2 sides. 1, 2, 3. Alright, here again, we're just simply going to spin them in a little bit. We're not tightening yet. Alright. Now, okay, where are you at? Oh, don't get too aggressive. There you go. Sneak up on it. The way my dad taught me. All right, we are now out of hardware. Okay, and we will now snug everything up. All right, and here again, sheet metal screws, old sheet metal. We are not killing it. We are just getting them tight. Okay, and how can I put it? This. Yeah. It is a welder, but they don't need to be welded together, so that we use the sheet metal screws so that we can service and such. So here we go. Tighten. Tighten, but don't kill it. Tighten. Come on. Get on there. All so there's 3 left for this top. And here again, they put that relief in there. We haven't tightened this one yet, and you can see that we still have some movement there that will give us access. Now, this is not the best tool to use for this, but that's what I'm going to do. Best tool would be a little end wrench, because we're not straight on it. All right, there you go. While we got this one in my hand, we'll just go ahead and snug these up. All right. And the welder is now reassembled. And here again. Come on. There we go. Yes. I like that. Except for that. We're going to take her for a test drive anyway. Alright, so this is quite literally turned into a 3-part series. We just, but this is actually video 2, and the first one doesn't even have a number on it yet. We just reassembled, and now we're going to plug it in, make sure it's off. Plugged in. Oh, she's making noise. All right, now in the first video I was complaining I couldn't see. We went down to Tractor Supply and bought the cheapest welding helmet I could find. Oh, and it's even got, we can do that without flipping the whole, yeah, okay, but now there's a little, what does that say? Warning, please remove film before using. Okay. And that's right there in my way. Alright, that's gone. And I think there's another one. Yep. Oh yeah, okay. Come on. Take the hand off. Oop, that don't fit. There we go. It looks like a welding helmet, but I think we got some of this green film on the outside as well. Come on. Yep. At the moment, I don't feel like disassembling this thing. I want to finish this video. There we go. When we get done with the video, I'll disassemble this and get all this out of the way. Alright, there you go. Nice brand new helmet. And we broke down and got us some 6011 welding rods, some brand new welding rods. Here again, it's been a long time. How do you open these? A piece of tape, I see. Where's my knife? I think that's a piece of tape. I don't see a zipper. Oh, maybe this thing slides? Nope. It used to be a cap you could just pop off. Hold on, I'll be right back. Alright, so what I ended up doing, I could see that this thing looked like it was designed to break off, so I broke it off, and that left me a little hole for me to get a rod out. It's not a pretty hole, but yeah. Alright, so stinger, nope, hold on, gloves first. Is this one up? Nope. It'll work though. This is the one I was using, but we have a nice pretty matched pair here, I think. Okay, now that I can see, and now that I have fresh rod, and now that I can adjust it, we're going to turn it down to 60 to begin with, because I think this rod is actually thinner than what I started with in the last video. Alright. Let's see which way I want to point y'all. Vice. I'm looking for the, oh, nope. Yeah, okay. Alright, so there's little grooves in the jaws of this thing. And the rod has got a bare part. That's where you put the rod, in that groove. Alright, and just to show you, this is what we're working with. I want to try and fill that right there. But I think I'm going to try and tack the end of it first, so that it don't go, I don't go chasing a wide gap. Okay. There we go. Let's see how this goes. Although we don't want to be welding on the ground. Stay away from the ground. Nope, not yet. Yeah, I should have bought the automatic one. Almost. Come on. Don't get too close to it. Alright. So part of stick welding is the outer coating on the rod. All right, that coating actually melts along with the metal and protects your weld from oxidation during the welding process. All right, once you finish welding, that slag will sit there, and then at the least opportune time it will pop and land square in your eye. So you don't want to get too close to it, but at the same time eventually you want to look at it. Alright, you see that? I don't think, nope, that's what I was worried about. So we've got a ball on both sides, but we did not bridge it. Okay. I want to bridge this and make it one piece before I go trying to run a bead down that groove. Alright. It's been a while, guys. Hold on. Maybe. Maybe. Oh, that even sounds different, don't it? Now I can see it moving though. Still ain't. Maybe. No, still. It still do. I think it is. Like. I think that looks good. Yeah. Yeah, except for that part. Nope. Okay. Where'd it go? Alright. Seems happy with the new stuff. Let's see about the old. Where's my... Hold on. This is actually a bigger rod, but this is the old rod that I was using yesterday. This is also 6011, but it's 30 years old. But it's also, that's the original. Where's the new ones? And that may be part of why I took so long to make my little bead here. All right, they're both 6011, but you can see the difference in diameter. All right, now we may not have enough amperage now to burn this heavier rod, but the heavier rod is closer to the thickness of this metal. So let's find out. All right, let's go up one on the amperage. All right, that's from 60 to 75. All right, go up one more. We're at 90. Come on. There we go. Okay. There's a bead. Although that will be the first bead I've done with an arc welder, a stick welder, in 25 years. And it is by no means worth a damn. Actually thinking. Okay, and you saw me bending the wire, bending the rod. I was trying to get it into a more natural position. Anyway, we're going to try a couple more and come back. Let's see if we can make an improvement. Okay, so as I've been piddling, started remembering some things. All right, now I want to point something out. Let's see. First of all, this is an old school arc welder. Okay, this is essentially the first way we could electrically weld things together. Okay. And there's a lot of stuff involved here, okay? The speed that the rod goes in, the speed that you move the rod across the metal, the amount of electricity you use. Like I said, it's been 25 years since I've done this, since I've piddled with this, with an arc welder. And obviously, I need to practice. All right, but old welder is back online, and if I need to build a piece of shop equipment or something, there it is. Oh, and one thing I wanted to argument: these things are still used in industry. Okay, and I believe the primary reason is it's stone hammer reliability. Okay, they're simple. There's not a lot of stuff to go wrong. There's no motors that feed the wire to wear out. There's no, the reliability factor on these things is one of the reasons why they're still around. Okay, and once you acquire the skill to use them, you're off and running. All right, guys, talk to you later. Bye.